Hi there, I'm Louis Risebro, Customer Success Manager at SnapLogic, based out of London in the UK. And today I'm going to show you some of the cool things that I'm doing with Jean-Paul, our very powerful AI assistant. So one of the main things that I was struggling with, or at least spending a lot of time on each day, each week, each month, was doing a lot of kind of research on customer intelligence. And the reasons for doing this were, I suppose, multiple reasons. One of them was to make sure that when I'm going into customer meetings, I have a good understanding about where their business is, what they're doing. It's obviously much easier if they're a public company because you can read the minutes of their investor meetings, for example. But obviously that takes a lot of time. I'm managing 30 plus accounts, and so if I'm having a meeting with each of those each day, it ends up adding up to a lot of time. And so what I have done is I've created a schedule that runs every day using Jean-Paul. And this schedule effectively creates a report each day that's in my inbox, 8 a.m., so I can read it with a coffee before I start work. And it includes pretty much everything to do with all of my account base. And so I'll just walk you through that today because I think it's incredibly powerful and it's made my life immeasurably easier. And so you can see here, this is just like a kind of central dashboard, if you will, a cockpit view of it. So you can see how many accounts I've got. As you can see here, this is a demo mode. So I've used Jean-Paul to mock up this as this example for the purposes of this recording. But we've got the number of accounts. We've got then it's kind of segmented into red, yellow, green. And then the total annual contract value is here. And so you can go through in each of these tiles. You can see that this effectively what it does under the hood is it scanned through all of our tech stack, Zendesk, BigQuery, Salesforce, our internal systems, anything, telemetry, the SnapLogic monitor. So it has all the platform usage. And it gives a really centralized, holistic view of what's going on with your entire customer base. So whenever every morning I log in and I check this, and it's really helpful to see what the kind of customers are doing, and if there's any red flags or even green flags, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I'll start off with Vortex Meridian Logistics, which is again a very made up company. But you can see here this is been a massive decrease in their monthly executions, so 68% down on the 3 month average. So instantly alarm bells are ringing. We've got obviously it calls out here that the renewal is next month, and there are also 7 open tickets, 4 of which are high priority. Again, I haven't been good in this example, and I haven't contacted the customer for 41 days. So it's really, there's a lot of kind of negative things happening with this particular account. Particularly it's calling out here in the news that the CEO announced a platform rationalization. And so again, it's pulling from lots of different sources, the internet obviously being one of them. And it also, you can see here it's calling out competitor signals as well. So it's not just specific to that particular company. It also looks at the industry, it looks at adjacent systems and adjacent companies. So it's a really, really powerful tool for understanding and identifying churn risk early. And I think one of the major things here is that I'm not actively seeking this information out because of the hard work that I put in up front to build out a really compelling dashboard here. Every morning I can log in and check my full account list, and it gives me much more confidence when I'm going into conversations and with customers because I know what's going on. Sometimes better than the stakeholders that I'm speaking with because I see every day what's in the news fresh off the press. Here we've got, let's say a customer which is it's on the watch list, right? So it's the renewal is coming up. It's later this year. There has been a usage drop, and the CTO here obviously started like a week ago, and the strategic priorities are unknown. So I think this, from my perspective, calls out that hey, there's a new CTO. This is someone that I should be getting onto, getting an audience with, and discussing and uncovering those strategic priorities. And it's calling out here urgent to engage. And I think one of the things you could do with Jean Paul would be to craft a very powerful message for Sarah Okonkwo to make sure that that's as an engaging, as productive and valuable meeting as possible. And I mentioned earlier, obviously we talk about red, yellow, green. Here is a green example in Helix Biopharma. The monthly executions are going up massively, 31% month on month. They're using AI. and there's an awesome health score here. So it's identified it as a very strong foundation, a platform for kind of a jumping off point for upselling. And then even better, right? It's also called out that there's some white space here in that they're only using three of the seven licensed LOBs. And so it's really powerful here that I have when I'm going into a conversation with my key stakeholders, I can say, hey, by the way, I know you're doing only working with, these LOBs. Please could we speak to your R&D team or your clinical or your finance team? And I think being able to point a person in the right direction or have a good understanding about their business and what maybe SnapLogic can do for them is really, really powerful. And again, here you can see here it's called out that there was a in the board meeting minutes that there's a phase 3 trial data pipeline project. Again, if I know that and I know it's fresh off the press, I can go and position SnapLogic very, very early, have a good understanding about what that data pipeline project will be, or at least hear it straight from the customer. And once I have a good understanding, I'm then able to position SnapLogic really nicely so that when the project is kind of coming to fruition, we're right there front and center. And again, this is just a customer which is relatively stable, but it really, really helps to understand what's going on with the customer. So if it's just green, great, that's really cool. We're really pleased with it. They're doing a lot of, they've got the broadest Snap Pack utilization in their cohort. But also, there's a lot of things here which there's an opportunity here. So there's a new off-gem carbon reporting mandate. And so it's really cool. I can go into different areas of business. I think also this really helps to become multi-threaded. So historically, if I was working with a customer, I'd be working with one team. Whereas now, because I have information from across the board, across the industry, across the company, it really allows me to go in and position myself and say and kind of make some introductions to the other members of the team and provide value to the company beyond the team that I have historically been working with. So this just goes in, kind of talks about some signals and events from the day. So this is really cutting edge stuff. This is not outdated data. This is things that are happening right now, and that's really really important. I think for me for this particular project is that I need things to be. I need to know exactly what's happening at the time. If I'm seeing something from last month in the tech world, particularly in the world where AI is everywhere now, something that happened last month is kind of old news. So that's why I want to be making sure that I am on the bleeding edge. And then this is quite nice for me as well, just to have a visible, what's going on with the monthly pipeline executions. You can see there's some great trends here, but it also just allows me to have a good understanding about my install base and what they're doing with SnapLogic and kind of how much utilization they've got here. And again, just a nice little pie chart for health score distribution. And so one of the main things that I do with this, like I said, every day log in before I kind of fully start work. I've got a coffee and I'm reading through my kind of daily report. And it's a really refreshing way to kind of start the day, and it really frames what I'm going to be doing with the day. Obviously, each time I've got a pretty full calendar. And so my time, I have to choose where I spend it. But if I see a customer's in the red zone or something for a couple of days in a row, I'm on top of that. Likewise, if there's a good opportunity, it's identified for an upsell or a good positive conversation about expansion. Again, that's really, really helpful for me to decide what I spend my time on and make sure that I'm providing the most value for my customers. So thank you very much.